The thing you want to know about your fabric is that there is warp and weft grains, and you want them to be as close as possible straight, because that will enable to give you a very nice, clean line. I've been pulling at this all day, but I don't have another piece. But anyway, you will find that if your grains are not straight, sometimes you can lay the fabric and see how it's sort of, there's like a, it was much worse before, but you know, it can kind of have some sort of pillowing, and it's very difficult to get sort of a clean finished line. It's because your grain is not straight. So what you want to do is you want to cut off the selvages and the raw edges, and you want to do it straight. And that is done very easily by snipping the edge of your fabric here and tearing it. And once you tear it, it will release the fabric, and it will also release it onto one straight line. And what you want to do here, so this has all been released, and then what you literally want to do is take it and pull it, and you want to, what's called blocking, and you want to correct it so that it's straight on all four sides. And once you do that, your fabric will all line up together on all four sides. It just makes for a nice cleaner finish and a cleaner seam.
Do all fabrics tear?
Yes, because all fabrics are made of warp and weft, unless it's like a leather. I mean, but then you won't generally have that problem. But yes, I would say 99% of fabrics all tear. Although that's a good question. If you have a fabric, I would maybe test with a scrap piece of fabric, because the way some fabrics are woven together, maybe you don't want that. You know, if it's a silk, like a fine tie silk, it will disrupt the fibers because they're sort of woven in a very sort of loose and gentle way. So when you do that sort of rough tearing, it will affect that edge. So just sort of be aware of it. So now you have your two pieces of fabric and you want to start sewing. You can either pin, and pinning, the amount of distance that you pin is basically based on your comfort level. There's no hard or fast rules. The other thing that you can do, and I'll show you in a second, is baste. Basting is simply taking your thread, just a plain piece of thread, and a sewing needle, and basting the two pieces of fabric together. This will work the same way, if not even a little bit better than pinning, because it will give you that line that you want to use. It'll also hold the fabric together very nicely. The thing about pins is that you do not want to sew over your pins, because it will break your needle, or potentially could break your needle. It will also harm the fabric. So if at all possible, you don't want to sew over your needles. So now we're ready to sew. After all that. In a straight stitch, what you're going to want to do is start off, you're going to want to start, and then you want to do a back stitch, and then you want to bring it all the way down. And we do this back stitch so that so it does not come apart at the edges, because as you're manipulating the fabric and you're sewing it around, you're inevitably going to, it's going to pull loose at the corners. So by doing that quick back stitch at the top, enables you to prevent that problem. So I'm going to lift up the presser foot. These marks here show you the different seam allowances. Seam allowances are the parts on the other side. So you can, standard seam allowances, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch. It's really up to you, depending on what you need, depending on what you're doing, how much seam allowance you have. 1/2 inch is generally the standard seam allowance. And that's the seam allowance that I'm using today. So you want to line up the edge of your fabric to that line that says 1/2 inch. Put your presser foot down. You want to gently start, oh, that was a little too fast. Press this lever down to go back, and then release it. then it is nice and sewn. So I'll show you the reason why I think ironing, well, why ironing is so important, is because if you look at the difference between these two seams right now, they're exactly the same fabric, same technique was used, except one has been ironed and pressed, the other one has not. So you can sort of see that that it's much more wrinkly and bubbly here, so you want to fix that